Hello, YouTube, Substack, etc., etc., etc. How are we all doing today? La 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 la. Yesterday was good. You're going to talk about that in a second. Let's go live on Instagram. Da, 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 da. Oh, la la. It always takes us. There we go. Now Instagram's going live. Okie dokie. That's more like it. Substack should be live. I'm going to pull it up so I can see you guys. There we go. Substack is live. Five of you. Excellent. Excellent. Terry, NJ, and others. Hey, Sue. All right, good. Good. This is good. All right, you guys are good. And now I am going to start TikTok, and then we are ready to roll. Go live. One moment. All right. All right, TikTok is live. All right, welcome everybody. So yes, we had fun yesterday. We had a great show yesterday with Max Miller of Tasting History. That was too much fun. I was enjoying myself. That was just way too much fun. The video is up. Actually, the Tasting History interview I did yesterday with Max Miller, famous food historian Max Miller of Tasting History. You guys probably seen his videos everywhere. The video is up now on TikTok, on YouTube, on Discord, not Discord, on Substack. I can put it up on Discord. It's up. I put it up on Substack last night, so everyone's got the video now, which is great. It was a really fun show. So yay. Anyway, let's get rolling, guys. So welcome, everybody. John Aravosa is here. We're going to talk about the latest news. Obviously, the big news is pretty much Iran. It always is. So a lot of our show is going to be talking about Iran. There's other news, too. Space alien news, all sorts of fun stuff that we're going to get into. But we will start with Iran. Just remember, I do appreciate your guys' gifts on TikTok and YouTube. Please keep them coming. Your gifts support my work, and I very much appreciate it. So yay. I will always try to do a shout out for the bigger gifts. I try not to discriminate, but the little ones, there's too many of them. So thank you for that, guys. But let's get rolling with no further ado. I'm John Aravosa. Welcome, guys. We're going to talk about the latest news. The breaking news from the U.S. today is Pam Bondi, Trump's attorney general, is fired. I mean, she's got like 30 days on the job, but she was fired today. She's the blonde woman who, during the hearing about Epstein, started going, the Dow is at 50,000. Why are you talking about Epstein? Right? It was like, well, because it's a hearing about Epstein. Well, she's out. Now, why she's out is interesting. It's not entirely clear. It looks like Trump got pissed at her, Bondi, who's our attorney general, who just got fired. It looks like Trump was pissed at her because of how she handled the Epstein affair. Now, mind you, right, he's not pissed that she wasn't transparent enough. He's not pissed that she didn't keep Donald Trump's campaign promise to release all the Epstein files. He's pissed that she released too much, that she released stuff that was damning to Donald Trump. That's what he's pissed about. So very interesting that the Epstein stuff got Pam Bondi fired, because it's one more piece of proof that Donald Trump isn't even keeping his own campaign promises. That once again, the Epstein scandal, that Trump thinks too much information is out there about Epstein, not that there's... Keep in mind, by the way, the law was passed that Trump signed that all 6 million Epstein files have to go public. Thank you, Tarad. A very nice gift, Tarad. Thank you for that one. That all 6 million Epstein files, other than files that might identify victims, but all 6 million files have to go public. They have only put about a little over 3 million files public. Half the Epstein files have still not been put public, and Trump's Justice Department keeps saying, oh, we're done. We're not going to review them anymore. Well, first of all, reviewing them wasn't your job. Your job was to make them public. Trump's Justice Department is literally violating U.S. law by not making the Epstein files public. What a surprise. Another top story today, and this one bodes very poorly for the war. We're going to talk about Trump's talk to the nation last night. Trump gave a speech last night that was insane. The stock market plunged after his speech. Oil prices went through the roof after Trump's speech because people were freaking out. They never came down today, the oil prices, at all. They're up a lot. I mean, a lot today. The American oil is up 11%. The British is up like 8%. I mean, overnight, in one day, 11% is not good. Gasoline prices are now up to $4.09 a gallon on average across the U.S., which, again, not good. So what does Trump do last night? Well, no, let's jump to today. Let's jump to today, and then we're going to talk about the speech. Today, we just found out Trump has fired Hegseth. Remember Hegseth, his pretty boy who runs the Secretary of Defense, who doesn't have any experience? Hegseth fired the Army Chief of Staff today. We're in a war. and they just fired the Army Chief of Staff. The Army Chief of Staff would be the top uniformed general in the Army, okay? The Chief of Staff of the Army would be akin to the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of the military. So it's the top uniformed military official. He just got fired. Guys, we're in a war, and the head of the Army, the top general in the Army, just got fired. We don't know why. They're not saying why. One of two possibilities. Either it's because of the war, and the war is not going well. That's the first possibility. The second possibility is he got fired because of the helicopter. Remember, I told you somebody was going to get fired because of this. Remember that two little MAGA members of the military thought it would be cool to basically steal a U.S. Army helicopter, two of them, two Apache helicopters, and go fly around the house of this MAGA singer, Kid Rock. They flew around his swimming pool, and they literally flew to a swimming pool and stayed there. And they got suspended. Well, Trump overturned it. Trump and Hegseth overturned the suspension of the troops who basically stole a helicopter for civilian use, which, I mean, imagine, literally, you're in the military, you steal a helicopter to go fuck around with some civilians? Like, what do you, I mean, well, Trump got pissed. Why did the Army punish the troops, right? Imagine Donald Trump if the Army punished the troops who basically stole a helicopter to go joyride with the helicopter. Mind you, we're at war, and U.S. Army troops are joyriding and stealing helicopters for fun. But imagine Trump's reaction when he found out that the Army punished the soldiers, the service members who stole the helicopter. I think Trump fired the Army Chief of Staff because of the helicopter. And I think the Army Chief of Staff might have even stood up to Trump on that one. He might have said, no, you don't get to joyride with a U.S. helicopter, a U.S. military helicopter, and not have consequences. So let's see. But either way, either we're at war, they didn't like the way the war's going, and they fired the head of the Army, which is insane, or we're at war, and they fired the head of the Army because some soldiers joyride with a helicopter, and Trump didn't want to punish them. Either way, seriously screwed up. Now, what happens last night that caused the oil, I'm going to talk more about oil prices in a second. Oil prices are in the danger zone today. The spot price of oil, actually they call it the, what's the word? There's a word for it. I've got it here. The dated Brent. Brent is the British oil. Okay, the British oil. You got British oil, American oil, Brent versus West Texas. The dated, I had to look this one up. I wasn't familiar with the term. Dated is the current price that you're paying today to get the oil, right? It's today's price. The oil prices you see when you Google online are futures prices. They're what people are sort of bidding and trading and all this. They're not today's price. The future prices are around 111. I'll get to it in a second, but around $111 a barrel, $110 a barrel. Today's price is 140. Okay, it's almost 50% higher. Everyone was sharing this fact today, and everybody was basically crapping themselves today because of how high oil prices have jumped. We are heading towards an energy crisis very quickly. Now, what happens last night that caused oil markets to freak out? Donald Trump announces, oh my God, Trump is going to speak to the nation, a hugely important speech. He's going to say we're pulling out of NATO. These were all the things that his staff was leaking. He's going to pull out of NATO. He's going to announce that the war is over in 3 weeks, this kind of crap. Trump gets up there, and what he does? Well, Barack Hussein Obama, he's kind of slurring his speech. He's very tired. He's making insults about Obama, calling him Hussein. I mean, and we're watching this going, what the hell's going on, right? Trump literally called the networks and said, give me free time on the networks, 9 p.m. at night, by the way, which is the time when very serious presidential speeches are given. Like, you only reserve 9 o'clock at night for the really serious presidential speeches. Trump gets up there, says absolutely nothing. He literally slurs his speech for 20 minutes. That's it. What I think, which was, first of all, very strange. Why did Trump call a speech to the entire nation and then say nothing? I think Well, there's two things that happened. He did say one thing, and I think this is what freaked the oil markets out, but we'll talk about that in a second. The second thing is I think Trump threw out his speech. I think Trump's staff was correct in leaking. He's going to pull out of NATO. He's going to announce we've got 2 more weeks and we're done. This kind of crap, right? Trump got up there. I think he ripped up his speech and in other words, something happened. Something happened that Trump changed his speech because Trump got up there and literally it's as if he didn't have a speech at all, which would make sense if he said, no, basically he pulled a taco. What did Trump say? Trump said, I've got the quote here. I'm going to read it to you. Actually, I should have had the video. Too bad I didn't get the video. Trump says, American involvement. I'm listening to this at the beginning of his speech too, and I'm going, holy crap. American involvement in World War I lasted 1 year, 7 months, and 5 days. World War II lasted 3 years, 8 months, and 25 days. The Korean War lasted 3 years, 1 month, and 2 days. The Vietnam War lasted for 19 years, 5 months, and 29 days. Iraq went on for 8 years, 8 months, and 28 days. This is Trump last night. We are in this military operation for 32 days, and the country has been eviscerated and essentially is really no longer a threat. I think the oil traders understood this as well. I think last night Donald Trump was lecturing us that the war has only taken 32 days. Other wars took a lot longer, so this hasn't been very long yet at all, anybody who's worried that this is going on too long. In other words, Trump was trying to tell us the war is going to go on for a lot longer. And I think that's why the oil markets went crazy last night. The stock market also kind of plummeted last night. The Dow Jones futures, where they kind of predict what's going to happen tomorrow. Actually, some stocks I think were still public, but then the futures, everything plummeted last night. I think Trump was telling us that this war is going to go on for a long time. Otherwise, why do you tell people Vietnam went on for 19 years? Why are you telling us that in a speech to the nation at 9 o'clock at night? You're basically scolding us that this hasn't been long at all. Well, if you were going to finish the war in a week or two, you wouldn't scold people and say, Vietnam went on for 19 years. World War II went on for 3 years. World War I went on for whatever. You wouldn't do that if you were planning on ending the war in 2 weeks. You would do that if this war had no end in sight and you wanted to prepare people. What else did he do? People thought Trump was going to announce that he was pulling out of NATO. Now, Trump cannot pull out of NATO. Legally, he can't. Thank God they passed a law. The irony is Marco Rubio, Trump's Secretary of State, passed a law tying Trump's hands because he didn't want Trump to pull out of NATO. Vietnam was actually longer, depending how you count it. I don't know about 19 years, but Vietnam, we got into it in the 1950s. We didn't end until, 73? When did Vietnam end? Actually, you could argue Vietnam 1954. I don't remember my history well enough, but I remember Vietnam was the 1950s. 73, yeah. Vietnam was the 1950s. It probably was 19 years. Vietnam did not start in 1963. But it depends how you want to count it. Last night, we thought Trump was going to pull out of Vietnam. We thought Trump was going to pull out in, he claimed 19 years. But I thought we were getting involved in Vietnam in the 1950s, though. We may have put troops in 61, but were we not? Anyway, I don't want to Google this right now, but I think you guys are wrong about Vietnam. I think Vietnam, we were there in the 50s. They started fighting the French. That's interesting. I see what you mean. Yeah. Google is saying 19 years. I know Korea was the 50s. Hello. Korea was like 1953. I know when Korea was. I think you're wrong about Vietnam. In any case, let's keep going here. So Trump, we thought he was going to pull out of NATO. He can't pull out of NATO legally, but what Trump can do, Trump can easily say, I'm not going to defend our NATO allies, right? So effectively, he pulls out of NATO because NATO is about defending your allies. Having said that, guess what Trump did in 2020, 6 years ago? Trump already told NATO he's not going to defend them. At a private meeting that went public, Trump told Ursula von der Leyen, top European official, and others, and they were witnesses to it, that, I'm not going to defend you. If the Russians invade, I'm not going to come to your defense. Trump already told the Europeans he's not coming to their defense. Trump already told them he's basically out of NATO. Trump already planned to declare war on NATO in the last 6 months. Remember, he was going to attack Denmark and go to war with the French and the Danes over Greenland. This kind of drives me nuts because I was reading people today talking about the NATO thing, and I really kind of went after several of them on Twitter because I'm like, how naive could you be to say, because all the Republicans are going, oh my God, NATO didn't come to our aid. NATO didn't come help us in Iran. Is this the end? And it's like, guys, thank you, Garden Girl, for the gift. Keep the gifts coming, guys. Really choice for Republicans, especially MAGA Republicans, to have the nerve to complain that NATO isn't supporting America when America, under Donald Trump, has been shitting on NATO for 9 years. Donald Trump was ready to go to war with NATO a few months ago over Greenland. Donald Trump said just 2 months ago that NATO troops are cowards, that the Europeans and the Canadians are cowards who came to fight with us in Afghanistan and Iraq, Trump claimed. He's a liar. There are actually over 1,000, I think it's more like 1,200 troops almost, that were killed, European and Canadian troops, fighting for us in Afghanistan and Iraq. But Trump claimed they were cowards. They hid. Now, after you call them cowards, and you suggest you don't need them, and you suggest that you're about to go to war with them, you then turn around and go, oh, hi, I know I called you a coward, but I really could use your help militarily. And I know I was about to declare war on you 3 months ago, but would you come help me? By the way, help me in this war that I started without you. I didn't consult with you. It's really kind of fucked up right now because we're losing and we don't know how to get out, and we're facing an incredible economic crisis with runaway inflation because energy prices are now going through the roof because we handed international oil to the Iranians. Would you come help us in this war that we don't know our goals and we don't know how it's going to end? What country would be stupid enough to come help us, A, because we shat on them, and B, because we've got a war that we don't even know why we're there, let alone we don't know how to get out of it? Hi, I'm stuck in quicksand. Would you like to come stand with me in quicksand and sink with me? Oh, NATO would love to do that, right? What country wouldn't like to do that? No, absolutely unbelievable. What else we got here? Oh, yeah, Trump did once again. He also lied. Big surprise, he lied. He lied about Obama. President Obama gave $1 billion to the Iranians. Yeah, guess who else gave $1 billion to the Iranians? Donald Trump. Donald Trump had the nerve. Part of the nuclear deal with Iran was to give them part of the money that we froze of theirs. So they did get $1 billion or whatever it was of their own money that we froze. And part of the enticement to get them to agree to not build nuclear weapons was to give them some of their money. What did Donald Trump do? Donald Trump freaked out 2 weeks ago because energy prices have gone through the roof, and he let Iran sell a bunch of its oil that previously we were not letting Iran sell, to the tune of billions of dollars that Donald Trump handed Iran a couple weeks ago because he panicked because Trump sent oil prices through the roof. Trump gave them billions of dollars, but had the nerve last night to suggest Obama gave Iran $1 billion. Yeah, dude, so did you. So did you. But didn't care. Barack Hussein Obama, of course he called him, right? Trump also claimed last night, once again, and I love this because, honestly, like, granted, I do foreign affairs for a living. I've been doing this stuff for 40 years. I do know a lot about this, and I've studied it and stuff, and I've worked in it. So, fair enough, I know stuff. But you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know stuff about foreign policy. To wit, already forgetting where I was going to get. We were going to talk about the oil stuff with this. He says last night, oh, thank you, Julie. That's very a vocal bear. Thank you for that. He says last night, let me pull this up. The U.S. imports almost no oil through the Strait of Hormuz and won't be taking any in the future. And so first, the U.S. imports almost no oil. It doesn't matter that Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz. And it'll open up naturally when the conflict is over. That was my favorite. It'll open up naturally when the conflict is over. Two things going on there. One, if Trump says last night, this is why, again, I think the stock market freaked out and the oil market freaked out. If oil is going to open, like the oil market is going to reopen naturally, the Strait of Hormuz, which Iran has shut, if it's going to open naturally when the war is over, it means he's not going to reopen it. He's going to leave it closed. He's talking about the U.S. pulling out. We invaded Iran. They took the oil. We knew they would. right? Thank you, Infinity. They took the oil, and now they're not going to let the oil go again. They're not going to let the Arab countries export their oil. And Trump is claiming if we just leave, it'll magically, oh, thank you, Terry. You guys are buying nice gifts today. Thank you. It'll just magically, the Iranians will decide, oh, the Americans have stopped bombing us. Let's make things better for America and bring oil prices down. In what possible universe would they do that, right? In what possible universe would they do that? It's, by the way, on TikTok, leave and come back or pull down on the page and it should refresh and you can see that I'm live. Somebody couldn't tell that I was live on TikTok. It does that sometimes, but sometimes you have to close the app and come back. The other thing, the U.S. imports almost no oil from the Strait of Hormuz, so it doesn't matter that Iran closed it. Let me ask you this. Have gasoline prices gone up in the last month since Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz? Donald Trump is suggesting no, because America doesn't get any oil from the Strait of Hormuz, so it doesn't matter to America that Iran closed it, right? There hasn't been any impact on gasoline prices in America, has there? Oh, you mean gasoline prices are up 33%? They're up $1 and $1 plus now, $1.20 for regular. Diesel is up even more. I've got that price. I'll give you in a second. Diesel is up to historic levels now, some of the highest levels in history, I believe. We all know, literally every single one of us knows that gasoline is up significantly in our country since Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz. This is where I've said this before, where Trump lies about stuff and he thinks he's going to get away with it because, I don't know, I mean, he's used to lying. He's a con man. He's used to lying and he's used to getting away with it. He's used to people believing his lies. The problem is you can't lie to people about the economy. When you lie to people, especially about inflation, he's done this a lot about inflation. Inflation's not a problem, and not anymore. And you're like, inflation's not a problem anymore? You think prices are good now, right? The closure of the Strait of Hormuz has not affected prices in America. Really? Again, every single one of you has been to buy gas, or at least even if you don't. I don't buy gas because I don't have a car, but I'm familiar with the gas prices. We all know the gas prices. We all know that gas prices have gone through the roof in America in the last month because Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz. And for Trump to lie about it, my point is also politically, we've got a huge election coming in the fall, in November. It's the congressional elections. Republicans are expected to lose control of the House of Representatives, and this never before considered possible, Republicans may now lose the United States Senate. Thank you, Cricket. There was no chance of Republicans winning back the Senate. Now there's a chance. Losing the Senate. Now there's a real chance. He's making it far worse for them by basically going on TV and lying to people. What do we got? West Texas crude is up 11.4% today because of Trump's speech. British Brent is up almost 8% today, or 8% last time I checked. A gallon of regular gasoline is at $4.08 a gallon. On average, GasBuddy thinks the price could rise to $4.25 or $4.50 in the next 2 weeks. Diesel is going, and they think diesel could get up to $5.80 or $6.05 a gallon. That's on average. Some places it's already that expensive, but this is the average price. Bloomberg News says today, the world's most important price for real, this is what I was telling you about. The world's most important price for real-world oil barrels surged above $140 on Thursday, the highest since 2008. Dated Brent, as it's called, the price of shipments bought and sold in the North Sea reached $141.37, surpassing levels seen when Russia invaded Ukraine, according to S&P Global. Trump also, oh God, this is a video I'm going to show you. Trump, he gave the crazy speech last night. He gave another crazy speech in the afternoon. He was slurring his speech. He was very tired, or seemed very tired. And he started saying, actually, I'm just going to, where's my pad? Hold on. Hopefully I've got it on my iPad. Sometimes I forget to open my pad and synchronize my video. I think I've got it here. This is a crazy video, absolutely crazy video of Trump. Yeah, hold on a second. I got it. All right. He's talking about, I always forget, Russell Vought. Is Russell Vought now the head of OMB? I always forget. He's one of his top budget officials. I think he's the head of OMB now, Russell Vought. And he's talking about yesterday, and Trump says, I told Russell vote, meaning I told one of my top financial officials in the administration, right? Listen to this. Listen to this.
Money for daycare because the
Hold on.
United States can't take care of daycare.
Also, listen to how much he's slurring his speech.
I said to Russell, don't send any money for daycare because the United States can't take care of daycare. That has to be up to a state. We can't take care of daycare. We're a big country. We have 50 states. We have all these other people. We're fighting wars. We can't take care of daycare. You got to let a state take care of daycare, and they should pay for it, too. They should pay. They have to raise their taxes, but they should pay for it. And we could lower our taxes a little bit to them to make up for, but it's not possible for us to take care of daycare. Medicaid, Medicare, all these individual things, they can do it on a state basis. You can't do it on a federal. We have to take care of one thing, military protection. We have to guard the country. But all these little things, all these little scams that have taken place, you have to let states take care of them, Russell. And you have.
So let's just clarify. Oh, dog wants water. Dog gets water, and then that was an insane video. That video is going to cost Republicans the election. One second. One second. Crazy dog gets water. Hi, crazy dog. You want water? All right. Get some water, crazy dog. There you go. All right. Sorry. Senior dog wants water. Senior dog gets water. In that video, Donald Trump said the federal government can no longer afford child care payments for Americans. The federal government can no longer afford Medicaid payments for Americans. Medicaid is an insurance program for poor people, mostly poor people, but a lot of those people are actually, more of them are Republicans than Democrats. We found that out recently. The United States government can no longer afford Medicare, Donald Trump just said. Medicare is the federal insurance program that covers every single senior in America. Every single American 65 years old and up is on Medicare. We are on it because we paid for it our entire lives. They take money out of our paycheck and put money into Medicare. Our entire lives we've been paying for this. Donald Trump just said that the federal government can no longer afford Medicare, one. Two, he said states will have to handle it and they can just raise taxes. So Donald Trump, one, said the federal government can no longer afford Medicare. Two, he suggested that we raise taxes. Okay, people are going to love that. Three, why did Donald Trump say that we can no longer afford Medicare? Because of the war. He said, we're in a war. It's expensive. We can't afford Medicare. He said, we've got to put a lot more money into our defense. We can't afford Medicare. Because of this war, Donald Trump is saying we can no longer afford Medicare? I mean, by the way, that video disappeared from the White House website. Somebody at the White House, they put it up thinking they were like, oh, Donald Trump did a speech today. And then somebody looked at it and went, holy crap. Daycare too. Well, no, daycare is a big deal too. I think the Medicare thing is even a bigger, politically, I think the Medicare thing is a bigger deal. Medicaid, daycare, but Medicare? And again, and to say that the reason we cannot afford to pay Medicare anymore, Donald Trump claims, is because of the war he chose to start in Iran, and all the other wars he's planning, because he said it's the defense budget overall. The defense budget overall is going to be the problem, he said. Hey, lady, go away. Seriously. Go away, Lily. You're starting to piss me off. No, some obnoxious woman, Lily, keeps trying to join. Why the F would I want you to come on as a co-host right now? Are you an expert on Iran? I don't think so. Go away. No, I just find some people are incredibly rude on this app. It always cracks me up. Like, literally, we're having a detailed discussion on Iran and foreign policy, and some woman named Lily's like, can I come on and talk? Yeah, sure, Lily. We'd like to hear what, hair products you're using. Anyway, this is a huge deal. This is a huge freaking deal. That video is going to be so used. Oh, the Democrats already put it out everywhere. That video is going to be so used in this election. But also, guys, this is what this guy is doing. He wants to keep, you know how much we're spending on defense? $1 trillion. $1 trillion we are spending on defense. $1 trillion. It's 15% of our budget we spend on defense. And this guy wants to do that. Yeah. I mean, but again, I'm so glad he said it. I'm so glad he said it. The stupidest thing for Trump to do, the stupidest thing. Let's play it one more time. So this was Donald Trump yesterday saying that because of the war and because of all the money he wants to spend on defense, America can no longer afford childcare, Medicaid, or Medicare. And his solution is we should just give it to the states, like let the states do Medicare now, and we can just raise taxes. We can raise taxes because we can't afford things because of Donald Trump's wars. He wants higher taxes too. Hold on, listen. Here we go.
Have to do it. I said to Russell, don't send any money for daycare because the United States can't take care of daycare. That has to be up to a state. We can't take care of daycare. We're a big country. We have 50 states. We have all these other people. We're fighting wars. We can't take care of daycare. You got to let a state take care of daycare, and they should pay for it too. They should pay. They have to raise their taxes, but they should pay for it. And we could lower our taxes a little bit to them to make up for, but it's not possible for us to take care of daycare. Medicaid, Medicare, all these individual things, they can do it on a state basis. You can't do it on a federal. We have to take care of one thing, military protection. We have to guard the country. But all these little things, all these little scams that have taken place, you have to
scams.
You have to let states take care of them, Russell, and you have to do it. I said
scams. Oh God. Oh God. I missed the headline. He called Medicare a scam. Okay, even the Democrats sharing it today weren't calling it. Even the Democrats today that I saw sharing it weren't mentioning that point. You know what it is? I always turned it off at the end of the video. I didn't hear him call it a scam until he called Medicare a scam. Oh, thank you, Julie. Oh my God. Oh, I mean, that's the freaking commercial. I've got to share that on Twitter again. He called Medicare a scam and then suggested we give it to the states and they can just raise your taxes to pay. By the way, Medicare, let's reiterate this. Medicare exists because you and I already paid for it. All of our life, every single paycheck we got, they took out, I forget if it's 5.5% or whatever it is, they took out to pay for Social Security and Medicare. They are actually even more than that, really. But they already took out to pay for Medicare. It's already taken out. That's already taken out. We've been paying for it the whole freaking time. And now he's saying, we don't have enough, and again, we don't have enough money because of Donald Trump's wars. We don't have enough money because Donald Trump wants to invade more countries, which we know he wants to do. Man, he called it a scam. He called it a freaking scam. Again, everyone sharing it today, I did not see them pulling that quote of Trump calling it a scam. I think if people are in the same boat I am, they didn't listen to the end of the video. I didn't listen to the end of the video until right now. My God. Yeah. No, politically, for the election, this is so bad for Republicans. I mean, I'm glad. I'm ecstatic. But man, oh man, oh man. All right, a little more here. Bloomberg reports Trump is preparing to release a fiscal year 2027 budget plan on Friday that will frame his party's midterm election message around a massive defense buildup partially paid for by cuts to domestic agencies. Trump, he said that on purpose about Medicare being a scam and how we can't afford Medicare anymore. He said it on purpose as part of his election strategy. He thinks Republicans are going to get elected in the fall by saying, we need even more military spending beyond $1 trillion. We need even more military spending, and we can just cut a bunch of domestic programs that you guys like. See, the problem, I think, for Trump with all of this is, if we were in a real war, I mean, we are in a real war, but if we were in a real war, one that we didn't cause, I mean, we caused this war. Iran was not an imminent threat. This is our fault. If we were in a war because somebody attacked us, right, then I think people would have supported it. People would have said, we've got to pay for it, we've got to cut, whatever, right? You know, we're in war with the Russians, we're in war with the Chinese or something. Then I could see people saying, let's do budget cuts, we've got to pay for it. Donald Trump decided to attack Iran, and not only do we not know why, he doesn't know why. They changed, again, Marco Rubio, his Secretary of State, today again changed the rationale for the war. 3 days ago, Rubio dropped the explanation of, oh, Iran was about to build nukes. The nuclear program wasn't even mentioned 3 days ago when Rubio gave his big 3 or 4 points. Today, it's back on the agenda again. They've done this. I mean, the nukes, remember, the nukes were supposedly the big reason why we went into Iran. And they have repeatedly dropped it from the agenda and then brought it back up. They don't know why we're there. They don't even know why we're there. Unbelievable. Hello, dog. I know. Oh, the dog wants food. I know. I've like now trained you to come here and beg for food. Hey, don't bite my hand. 16-year-old dog. Time magazine reports. Susie Wiles, who's Donald Trump's chief of staff. Thank you, Terry, for the gift. Donald Trump's chief of staff, Susie Wiles, has expressed concerns that aides are giving Trump a rose-colored view of how the war was being perceived domestically, telling Trump what he wanted to hear, and urged them to be more forthright with the boss about the political and economic risks. A couple things going on here. One, if Donald Trump's staff isn't giving Trump a full and effective view of what's going on with the war, at least how it's affected the economy at home, that's on Donald Trump. 2 reasons. One, Donald Trump's staff, we heard this report the other day. Thank you, Ms. Francis. We heard this report the other day that people are, basically his staff are afraid of giving him bad news, so they only give him the good news. Remember? They do pretty videos. Every morning he gets a 2-minute video about the war, and it shows how they blew things up. Yay! At one point, the Iranians had apparently struck 5 American aircraft in Saudi Arabia. They didn't tell Trump because he would get mad. So they didn't brief the commander-in-chief on what happened, that the Iranians attacked a U.S. airbase. He saw it on Fox News and got pissed off because first he thought Fox was lying. And then he was like, wait, this actually happened? You didn't tell me? So the fact that Trump's staff are not giving him full briefings about the impact of the war on the domestic economy is Trump's fault, because he made clear to them, this is like my boss at the UN, when they make clear that they're going to be assholes when you tell them the truth, you don't tell them the truth anymore. You just say, okay, great, you want to lie? We're going to give you a lie, right? I can tell you the truth, I got my head cut off. That's Trump's fault. That's Trump's fault. The other thing is, this is part of that effort to make it seem like everything, oh, poor Donald. I mean, who was it? Megyn Kelly was doing this the other day. He's got such bad staff. If only somebody had told Trump the truth, maybe he wouldn't have gone into the war. Thank you, baby duck. And you're like, really? Yeah. Poor Donald. He's so old and ignorant that if only someone had told him the truth. He's only the president. He has no way of getting the truth. Yeah. The problem isn't that Donald Trump isn't getting enough information. The problem is that Donald Trump is president of the United States, right? We elected a crazy lunatic. Thank you, Bo. Thank you, running. More here. Oh, this was great. This is from Time Magazine as well. Same article. Listen to this one. Key Trump officials, including Defense Secretary Hegseth, were surprised by the barrage of retaliatory attacks Tehran launched against U.S. and Israeli targets across the Middle East, including in countries long assumed to be off limits: Kuwait, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar, a state that had both harbored Iran's terrorist proxies and served as a conduit for back-channel diplomacy. The response shattered the assumption that Tehran would confine itself to performative retaliation. This story is about the fact that the Trump Hegseth at the Secretary of Defense, he was so surprised that Iran fought back when we blew them up. No one could have predicted that Iran would attack the region. Everyone predicted. I've known this for 40 years working on these issues. Everybody knew there was a serious threat of Iran attacking its neighbors if we attacked Iran. Hegseth didn't. Time Magazine said Hegseth didn't know. He was surprised that Iran blew up everybody in the region. Listen to this. The response shattered the assumption that Tehran would confine itself to performative retaliation. In internal deliberations before the war's launch, Hegseth had pointed to Iran's muted reaction to Trump's past attacks as evidence that calibrated force would impose costs on Tehran without triggering a broader war. Hegseth said, well, previously we attacked them, they didn't do much, so I figured they wouldn't do much this time either. You killed their leader. You killed pretty much all the members of their government, the top members, including their leader, and you didn't think they were going to fight back? because they didn't fight back last time when we blew up their nuclear facility. Mind you, we blew up their nuclear research facility and they didn't hit us back. So when we decided to kill their leader and all of the rest of his top leadership and bomb the hell out of their country, we thought that was kind of the same thing like blowing up a research facility. Kill the leader, kill the research facility. They wouldn't respond. Why would? This is what I'm saying, where you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You don't have to know foreign policy to understand this, right? You kill the leader of a foreign country, that country is going to do something bad to you in response. They're going to. And it's not the same thing. A little more. It's not the same thing as you blew up their research facility, you blew up their Ayatollah, right? Not exactly the same. He wasn't a good man, but you should expect that if you blow him up, they're going to blow you up and they're going to blow up your friends. More. Hegseth was caught off guard. There's no question, said a person familiar with his thinking. He was expecting the Iranians to fight back in some form. When they started attacking virtually the entire region, it sort of hit him like, whoa, we're really in this now. We're in Wayne's World or so. Right? Whoa, dude, we're really in this now. Reuters reports that the Strait of Hormuz will be closed that the Iranians now say they're never opening up the Strait of Hormuz for the Americans or the Israelis. Now, we only get 3% of our gas or our oil from there, but still. The Iranian military is also proceeding with putting a toll. They're now putting a toll on every vehicle, every ship going through there, every tanker. It's going to be $1 per barrel of oil that goes through. U.S. ground beef prices, this is all related to the oil stuff. U.S. ground beef prices hit an all-time high yesterday. During COVID, they were around $4.75 a pound. During Biden, they hit around $5.55 a pound. Now, they are at $6.75 a pound on average U.S. beef prices. Again, all because of Donald Trump. New CNN poll numbers show increasing numbers of Republicans against the war. 23% of those who approve of Trump's overall performance oppose the war. That's actually very interesting. So of those who approve of Trump, 23% oppose the war. Only 39% strongly approve. So of Trump supporters, of Trump approvals, right, people who approve of Trump, only 39% strongly support the war. That's interesting. 43% of conservatives oppose the war, and 24% strongly oppose it. 28% of Republicans oppose the war. That's actually quite, I mean, again, that's good. I'm glad to hear it, but that's interesting. Other news. So yesterday you might have heard Trump decided to make fun of the French president, President Macron, and his wife at a private lunch where he was blasting NATO allies. Trump imitated a French accent and said that Macron's wife treated him extremely badly and that Macron was still recovering from her right hook to his jaw. Macron was asked about it today and responded, "I won't answer because it's not elegant and unworthy of an answer." He did say later, "Maybe one shouldn't speak every day." Talking about Trump. I thought that was interesting. Now, of course, Trump has to speak every day because, right, this is what egomaniac narcissists do. Trump is now saying he's not going to abide by the Presidential Records Act. The Presidential Records Act was a law enacted in the wake of the Watergate scandal. Watergate was the scandal during Richard Nixon when he committed a bunch of crimes, president in the 1970s, and had to resign, Republican president. The law forces presidents and their administrations to preserve certain documents and turn them over to the National Archives at the end of their administration. Trump is now saying the law is unconstitutional. Quiet. Stop. The law is unconstitutional. That's elderly dog being a pain. The law is now unconstitutional. He's not going to abide by it. Now think about that. Why would Trump be worried about obeying a law that is intended to stop presidents from becoming corrupt? Yeah, let's think about that one. Alex Jones. Alex Jones is a nut job, but he is close to Trump. Alex Jones said today that Kash Patel, who the FBI director, is also about to be fired. I would not be, now Alex Jones is crazy, but he's also close to Trump. I would not be surprised. Keep in mind, the stuff with Kash Patel, right? All that getting drunk at the Olympics and everything, taking his private jet and going everywhere. Trump does not like that stuff. Trump's presidential library, thank you, OC. Keep the gifts coming, guys. Appreciate that on TikTok. Trump's presidential library, Trump said yesterday, will be mostly a hotel, but it will have the Air Force, it'll have Air Force One in it. Remember Air Force One? This is amazing. Trump goes, I don't like libraries. It was libraries and museums. I don't like libraries and museums. I'm going to probably have every president has a presidential library. I think I'm going to have my presidential library be a hotel. Now, presidential libraries are literally libraries about the presidency, about history. They have historic artifacts. They're a museum to the presidency. Thank you, Jazek. I've not seen that one before. They're a museum to the presidency. Trump wants to make his a for-profit hotel that you come to, and he said, I'll have Air Force One in the lobby. That would be the Air Force One that the Arab government gave him for free, a $400 million plane that the Arabs gave him for free, and that he's spending $1 billion upgrading. Trump is spending $1 billion of our money on that plane, and in 3 years, he gets to keep it. So in other words, he got a $400 million bribe from the Arabs and another $1 billion he took from the taxpayers, and then he's going to take it. And he's going to put it in his hotel, he said, and he's going to charge people to come stay at the hotel. He's going to take, let's put a finer point on it, he's going to take the accoutrement of his presidency, all the artifacts that would normally go in a museum, and he's going to put them in a hotel so he can make money off of it. Hunter Biden. They went after Hunter Biden, claiming Hunter Biden made $24 million off of the presidency. They claim. It was a lie. Doesn't matter. Let's pretend it's true. $24 million. Trump is getting $1.4 billion from this plane alone. Imagine if Hunter Biden and Joe Biden basically stole a plane for $1.4 billion. Imagine. Took gifts from Arab governments. A $2 billion gift from an Arab government they were given for their crypto venture. What's his face? The son-in-law, Jared Kushner, got was it a $5 billion investment he got in his firm several years ago? I mean, the amount of money going to these people is sickening. 24 million, Hunter Biden. A couple more stories. A top Trump, oh, this is great too. A top Trump FEMA official says he practices FEMA is the agency that for federal emergencies, tornadoes, hurricanes, tsunamis, whatever. They're forest fires. They're the agency that comes in to help people when a state is destroyed by a disaster. A top Trump FEMA official, thank you, Bowie, thank you, Dolphin. Top Trump FEMA official says he practices teleportation and has teleported to a Waffle House and a church. CNN called him out on it, and he doubled down and defended it and said, yes, I did. CNN went after him again, and he, for 3 times, came out and said, but I did. I teleported to a Waffle House and a church. Okay? And he's one of the top Trump officials, and he thinks he has teleportation abilities. Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz was Trump's pick to be Attorney General. He was a Republican member of Congress who had a history with underage girls and was investigated and was in trouble. Matt Gaetz said on a podcast, quote, I had someone come and brief me who was in a military uniform who worked for the United States Army that was briefing me on the location of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens from outer space were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication, Gaetz said. An actual uniformed member of the Army briefed me on that. According to Gaetz, members of his staff were present at the meeting with the senior enlisted service member. Gaetz went on to claim that the humans involved in the military program had been abducted from war zones and the caravans of migrants. According to Gaetz, he was told that there were 6 to 12 such facilities involved in the scheme. However, he conceded he did not verify the whistleblower's claims. Humans used in the, Aliens from outer space are being bred with humans to make them communications devices. This guy was a top Republican member of Congress that Trump picked this guy to be attorney general, but because of his scandals with underage girls, he didn't get the job. But this is the guy Trump picked to be attorney general. Yeah. Paula White. So Trump had a bunch of religious people today at the White House because Easter is coming up. And, you know, Trump, Mr. Religious, right? Because all those times we see Trump going to church, right? We all know the number of times we've seen Trump praying in church, right? They come and they put hands on him and do all that creepy stuff. Well, Paula White today, who's one of the religious people, compared Trump to Jesus. She said to him at the podium, "You were betrayed and arrested and falsely accused. It's a familiar pattern that our Lord and Savior showed us. Because of his resurrection, you rose up." So Donald Trump rose from the ashes he resurrected just like Jesus, and he was betrayed just like Jesus. Now, coming from a religious family myself, in a normal religion, that would be considered sacrilege. That would be considered nuts in a normal religion. Now, Trump, you know as well. Donald Trump, like he believes any of this? Please, right? But I mean, this is the kind of crazy shit these guys surround themselves with. And finally, for the Americans out there, Trump today tweeted, I mean, this was possibly the most crazy thing he's done recently. This is actually like literally sundown kind of stuff. Trump tweeted, I think I've got the tweet here, let me see. Trump tweeted this afternoon about Jasmine Crockett, Democrat, a black Democrat. She's a black woman. She's a smart black woman, right? Democrat from Texas. Donald Trump doesn't like her. Donald Trump tweeted today suggesting she's a relative of Davy Crockett. Davy Crockett was like an American frontiersman, like a famous outdoors guy, politician as well. He tweeted, his tweet is insane. Davy Crockett, obviously a distant relative of Jasmine Crockett and a very high IQ frontiersman, would be proud of the legacy that he began long ago, and especially Jasmine's great success as a politician from the great state of Texas. That's all he wrote. That shit doesn't make any sense. I mean, literally, it's not just juvenile, it's kind of crazy. I mean, it doesn't even make sense. That's like grandpa's having issues kind of crazy. I mean, like really, really kind of crazy. Anyway, all right, let's hang and talk. That is it for the prepared show. Now we hang out for 15 minutes. Let us hang. Anyway, welcome everybody. John Arvosa here. So this is our show. We talk about politics, talk about the news. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. But yeah, the markets, the stock market at least was, I think, did it end up being relatively flat today? All day it was pretty much flat. It crashed last night. But oil, oh boy, oil very bad. The oil stuff, we are looking at some real trouble with the oil stuff. Where is this? I'm trying to pull this up. Come on. Oil prices. Here we go. So the latest is West Texas crude is up 11.4% today. Brent crude is up 8%. And and the prices themselves are around 110, I think. Hang on. Yeah, 109 and 111. But the actual immediate price of Brent is up to 140. That's bad. I mean, that's very bad. Hold on. There we go. Turning my phone here. Very, very, very bad. Oh, man. Anyway, is gold still falling? I did not see what happened with gold today. I didn't look at that. It probably is market manipulation too. But oil going up, not a good thing. I mean, the oil stuff, guys, remember the Fox News, dropping my glasses. Remember the Fox News woman? There was a Fox News' economic reporter. And she said the other day, giving the dog a treat. Here we go. All right? There you go. The Fox News' economic reporter the other day, and she was talking about inflation. And she said, wait and see the numbers that come out for March. She said these numbers were already very bad 2 weeks ago. She said, just wait and see. Oh, thank you, Red. Appreciate the jellyfish. Or what? Jellyfish? Or, yeah, Man of War. No, those are jellyfish, not Man of War. She said, just wait and see the March inflation numbers. Because she thinks, and by the way, what's going to happen next? March inflation is going to be going through the roof. And the next Federal Reserve meeting, they're going to have to raise interest rates. And if they raise interest rates, thank you, Cricket, that's going to depress the economy. And we're already in danger of a recession. We could be looking at some very bad economic times because of what Trump did with this war. You know, they all have I mean, this, again, you elect an idiot, there are consequences. We saw that during the disease of 2020. TikTok doesn't like us mentioning these kind of words, so I'm not going to mention it. But you all know in 2020, when Smarty Pants decided to ignore it, it's not a problem, it's going to go away on its own by Easter. He said it was going to go away by April of 2020. It didn't. It killed 1 million Americans because he ignored it. So, yeah. And they all ignored it, and they convinced people not to get this and not to wear this, and 1 million plus people died in America alone. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, interesting. Anyway, what else? Oh, yeah, and the bleach. Yeah, the bleach. Anyway, you know, crazy ass stuff. Another piece? All right. I'm giving my dog little pieces of treat to keep her quiet, but it's only working partially. Anyway, oh my God. See, Andre? Oh, ooh la la. Ooh la la. Oh my God. Yep, Army Chief of Staff, we talked about that. Very weird. So yes, the Army Chief of Staff is the top uniformed member of the U.S. Leader of the U.S. Army. You've got the civilian head who's the secretary, and then the uniformed head who is the Chief of Staff. Fired today. We're in the middle of a war, and they just fired our top general in the Army. I'm sure the war's going very well that Trump just fired our top general in the Army, right? I'm sure it's going very well. Yeah, yeah. Do I think nuclear war is possible? No, but because of Trump. There is concern by smart people. There is concern by smart people as to whether Trump would be crazy enough to use a nuke on Iran to get them to basically give up. You know, he would be crazy enough to do it, yes. Would the military do it if he ordered it? I don't know. You know, Israel, honestly, Israel I think would be smarter than Trump would, because Israel I don't think would get away with it. Trump would get away with it. I mean, Israel's got to worry, for example, if I were Israel, I'd be worrying about Pakistan, because Pakistan's got nukes too. If Israel were to use a nuke, I'd be worried. Now, I don't know whether the Pakistans can hit Israel, but I'd be very worried about that. Now, mind you, Israel's got, thank you, Louise, Israel's got, 100 nukes, so they could also fire back at Pakistan, and it could be a mess across the board. But is Trump dumb enough to use one? Yes. The general was told he's retiring effective immediately. Yeah, yeah. The Lego videos, if you mean the Iranian ones, yeah, they're quite good. Iran's done a series of videos making fun of Trump with, like, Legos, and they've been very good videos. I mean, they really have been, So, anyway. Oh, what else, guys? Oh, Diana, thank you. Oh, we love the motorcycles. Thank you, Diana. Very nice. I always forget, is that one of the, wait, let me see. I think, is that an Ask Me Anything? Oh, that's a happy birthday. That's a happy birthday, by the way. Do you want a happy birthday? That is a happy birthday gift, Diana. I don't know whether Diana wants a happy birthday or whether she knew it. Sometimes people don't know that that's what comes with the gift. Up to you. Sure. May not be. That doesn't sound like it's Diana's birthday, but what the hell? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Diana. Happy birthday to you. There we go. You can store that one for next time. That's funny. Thank you for that. That was very nice of you. Thank you. Because that's a very nice gift. Thank you. But I always laugh because sometimes I do think, or like the Ask Me Anything people don't realize is one. That's like the meteor shower, I think. I don't think it's actually her birthday, but we were singing anyway. Kind-hearted is saying happy birthday to. Now we got people telling you happy birthday. That's funny. My singing voice is actually pretty good. I don't think I do well when I sing here because I'm nervous singing like to you guys. My singing voice is actually pretty good. It's just not good here. So, All right, you. My dog is being whiny today. I know you're being whiny. I know. Anyway, her unbirthday. Exactly, your unbirthday. That should be like a Seinfeld thing. Her unbirthday. The general's name, I don't remember his name. Is his name White? I'm forgetting his name. He's a white guy, actually. But I'm forgetting the general's name. Yeah, I could do like, happy birthday to you. See, I can do like the more sensual one if I really wanted to. But I didn't want to do like real singing voice because that would be embarrassing. But yes, I can do pitch. Yes, no, that is true. I always forget people that can't sing. So it is true. Like I'm always kind of surprised people who can't sing at all. Yeah, Mr. President. With people who can't sing because I can, but it's always, it's a weird thing that like, it always kind of surprised. When I say can't sing, I mean that you can't hold a tune. They can't do the pitch. They can't actually find the note. It's a thing, you know? It's a very, it's interesting though. Like I wonder if it's genetic or it's gotta be genetic, I guess, right? That people like, they can hear and make the connection, I guess. But I'm always kind of amazed by that. You know what I mean? But you know, yeah, anyway, very interesting. Yeah. Anyway, exactly. So, sorry, I'm tired. I didn't yawn until now. I do pretty well not yawning until the end of the show, more or less. So, yeah, but like I said, tone deaf always surprises me because I'm always like, wow. And again, I think, you know, if I'm under different circumstances, I can sing. Doing it here, I always feel kind of weird. You know what it is, actually? I think it's hard to sing without music. With music, I can sing, I think, well. Without music, I think it's a little harder, you know? China's commentary to the war, I don't know. What's the latest with that? I mean, I know they're sitting back and letting us hang ourselves. That I know. You know? Randy George, Army Chief of Staff General Randy George, W.C. Field says. Okay. Randy George. Okay. Thank you. Oh, thank you for the sprouts. Thank you, Flocken. I yawn at you again. Sorry about that. Yeah, the Gerald Ford aircraft carrier is going. The only thing is, I'd initially heard it wasn't going to go. It wasn't going to go to the Middle East, so it wasn't quite clear to me. Having said that, I doubt it's being deployed unrelated to the Middle East, right? It's got to be related in some way. I mean, it's got to be. You'd think, right? So who knows? Another one. Oh, there we go. News from Ukraine. No news from Ukraine. Really, I mean, there was like some low-level stories. Not really. Anyway, what else? Oh, I am yawning. So sorry, guys. It was, by the way, yesterday was fun. I don't know if many of you got to watch the show with Max Miller, but it was. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I could tell when I talk. Well, I could tell from his videos, but he's a very interesting. He's like his videos. I would say, really. Oh, the Artemis. That's true. Yeah. The moon mission. Now, the moon mission, I believe, is going to circle the moon, right? It's not going to land on the moon this time. I think they're circling the moon. But yeah, he is very likable. Yeah. It sounds funny to say likable, but he really is, though. He's nice and fun, you know? But it was fun. Yeah, it was very fun. They're going to do one orbit, okay, and then come back? Gotcha. Okay. That's what I thought. I was thinking they weren't going to be landing. Oh, 30 countries negotiating with Iran to open the strait. Well, I could see a lot of them doing it. I mean, it depends who, but I mean, there's like 200 countries in the world. I could easily see 30 of them going, "Hey, this isn't our war. Let us through." Right? Very wholesome. I know he does. He had gone to New York to be on Broadway. He's like, I think he's an actor and a singer, I think, as well. So his whole plan was to be on Broadway, and then finally changed plans and moved out west. But that's where he gets the voice and the showmanship, and he's got a sense of humor too, which is very funny. So yeah. Anyway, it was fun. I'm gonna stop yawning. Stop yawning. But I did put the video up so you can watch the show. You can finally watch the whole show with me and Max. It's on TikTok. It's on YouTube, and it is on Substack. I put it up for you guys. Sing it in Greek. Nachis chronia Paula, ke megali chara. And I don't remember the rest of it. La 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 la. I only remember the first two lines. It's may you have many years and much happiness. Like great happiness, and I don't remember the next two lines. If any Greeks are here, you can tell me. I don't remember what's the rest of it. I don't remember the next two lines. I never learned the next two lines really. I just remembered that was what we used to sing here at least. We would sing that here. Do Greeks actually sing that, or is that an Americanization of Happy Birthday? We always have a few Greeks here. Do they do it? Okay, they do it. Okay. My parents did not really speak Greek at home. I mean, look, my mom was from Greece. My dad was Greek American, but my dad was American. So dad spoke Greek, but he thought his Greek wasn't good. Dad was fluent, but he thought his Greek wasn't good. So he and mom would speak English. And with us, mom tried to teach us Greek, but I think because of dad especially, we would all speak English. And then once she had more kids, there were 4 kids. Of course, the 4 kids are speaking English. So we did not really speak Greek at home. No. Thank you, Flakin. But I've taken a lot of Greek. I'm taking a Greek class now, but I took a lot of Greek classes over the years, and my Greek is okay. It's not fluent, but it's not beginner, but it's not fluent. It depends on the conversation. It depends. But it's not bad. Like when I went to the embassy, I was able to do my documents. For like the first 5 minutes doing my documents, we did it in Greek, and he heard me say something in English, and then he switched to English. We can do English. I was like, yeah, okay. I was like, fair enough. English would be easier, but I can get by. But it depends on the topic, Did dad? No, my mother at that point. My mom already spoke English. Really, I mean, they met probably when she was 22, and mom came to the U.S. when she was 8. So by the age of 22, she already and mom came here at 8, and they put her in first grade. And I forget by what grade, but she ended up getting double promoted and reached her point where she should be. I don't know whether it was by whatever grade, but she came here at 8 years old. By the time she was in high school, she was at the right level, and she graduated high school at the right time, which was kind of wild to come here with no English at all at age 8. And she goes, I remember they put me in kindergarten or first grade. First grade, she goes, and I was 8 years old, and I was with all the 5 and 6 year olds. But what do you do, But she learned English and she jumped ahead. So yeah, kind of crazy. Except she says height wrong. Exactly, height, as she taught me to say, height and width. There were a couple other things mom taught me wrong too. Something else she taught me. I remember it was another momism, and I went. Somebody corrected me in high school, I think, and I was like, that was my mother. Yes. I can't remember what. Although there's a couple things. There's something recently that I didn't know was wrong. Actually, Hagiography that I call it, it's pronounced something else. Hagiography? What the hell? How do you actually pronounce it? I call it Hagiography because I'm thinking in Greek, but I don't know. I don't actually, that word might have been beyond mom, actually. I think. Mom had a good vocabulary. Mine was better. Mom's vocabulary was very good. I mean, she even taught English at one point. But yeah, do we say hagiography? It's sort of the sanctification of leaders. So it's like putting a leader on a like the I would say hagiography, but I'm pronouncing it wrong, of Donald Trump, where you're kind of turning him into Jesus or a saint, because it comes from the Greek aios, like holy saint. The pronunciation though, like I said, maybe it's because I said it once and my friend was like Hagia Sophia. It's the same word. Yeah, it's the exact same word. Do you think relations with Iran will change with the new administration? Not necessarily. Somebody spelled it right above. They got it right. Not necessarily, because we've had 50 years of different administrations with Iran, and they've all been bad. Right? Or are we going on 55 years now? How long has it been, right? And it hasn't gotten any better. I don't think the problem isn't really having a different American administration. The problem is Iran is a terrorist state, and they are. Iran getting nuclear weapons, unacceptable. But Iran wasn't getting nuclear weapons. That's the problem. Trump went in because I think Israel convinced him to, or, Trump, some big funder convinced him to, right? So, But yeah, I got to check the pronunciation again, because there's some funny pronunciation. Now I'm going to check. Idealizing or idolizing biography. Yep, exactly. It's sort of, I'm going to look at how the hell, actually, I don't think I can find, quiet, stop you. I don't think I can, I'm trying to find the pronunciation of it, but I'm going to ask ChatGPT, because the written pronunciation with all those funny upside down E's and stuff, I can never get right. I want you to pronounce a word for me that I always get wrong. I call it Hagiography, but I'm told I'm pronouncing it wrong. Is it Hagiography? Like, how do you actually say the word?
You're pretty close. It's pronounced Hagiography. The hag part is like hag, and the stress is on that og. So
Hagiography? That sounds terrible.
it might feel odd at first, but that's the standard way. You've got that hag sound up
Okay,
front.
and I, of course, I'm saying it the Greek way. When I say Hagiography, nobody says Hagiography, right?
Yeah, in English, nobody would say it that way. But I get it. Sometimes we instinctively lean into how a root might sound.
That's funny. Nobody says it that way. Okay, fine, ChatGPT. Fine. Nobody says it the way you say it. It's like, oh, well. Well, the meaning, because Aios is like holy, saintly in Greece. Aios, Saint Peter, Aios Petros, or what? I don't know if we say Petros or what do we say in Greek, but it's how you say saint or holy. And graphy, well, graphy is writing. So I'm not sure why it's like holy writing. Actually, it could be Hagiography because you're writing and making something bigger than it really is, or you're making it sound holy, would be my guess as to the etymology of the word. Actually, we should have asked. So give me the etymology of the word hagiography.
The word hagiography comes from Greek roots. Hagios means holy or saint, and graphe means writing or description. So originally, it literally means writing about the saints, basically biographies of holy figures.
But why would it apply to, the way I use it is meaning you're taking somebody regular like a politician and you're basically treating him like a saint. How did it get that meaning if it's about writing?
Originally, hagiography was about idealizing saints. It glossed over flaws and emphasized their virtues. Over time, that approach got extended metaphorically. So if you write about someone, like a politician, and you're only praising them or ignoring faults, it's like treating them as a saint. That's how it evolved to mean an overly reverential portrayal, even for non-saints.
Okay. Now you all know. It's a great word. I love the word. I've always loved the word. And it's because I think of it as like the treatment of Trump, right? This I'm going to call it hagiography. I hate saying hagiography. It sounds like hag, but you get the idea, right? You know, just this overly referential treatment, you know? Very, very applicable in modern times, exactly. It's a great word, yeah. It's not a word I use with many people because, what do you do? We live in America, I find there's a lot of words I don't use that I know because I feel like I'm being smarty pants or something. But it's a very good word to describe, like I would say the hagiography of Donald Trump. It's a very particular. It's so perfect for that, right? This putting him on a pedestal, like, oh, he's a saint. The woman today compared him to Jesus. I mean, it's literal. Literally, the hagiography. It's so fucking weird. Hagiography. Hagiography, like hag geography, exactly. Anyway, all right, guys, we're gonna close up shop here. I think it's already 16 minutes after. I know I like my way. I think hagiography just sounds weird. Well, it's funny. I do think of one thing. Years ago, 1990s, 1990s, email used to be spelled with a hyphen. I worked in the internet field. I refused to use a hyphen. And I told people, it's stupid to use a hyphen. It looks weird. I said, no one's going to use a hyphen someday. And they were like, why don't you use a hyphen? I said, because it looks funny. Now, nobody uses a hyphen for the word email. But it was very funny. I don't know that anybody remembers me telling them, but I never used it, and people thought it was weird. Like in my emails, I would never use it, and people thought it was weird that I wouldn't use the dash. Yeah. But people would use a dash in emails, so. I'm saying as far as the funny nature of words and them changing and stuff, you know. It still does in Dutch. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Interesting. What's the update on the news today? The entire thing is recorded on YouTube, and you can go check it out. Because my show is over. We've been doing this for an hour and 15 minutes. But you can find, and my dog is whining, so I need to give her a treat. But you can go check it all out on YouTube. It's all there. Yeah. John Urvosis, DC. TikTok is such a... I wish TikTok would save the lives. TikTok, like, lets me download them, but then I have to upload them again. It takes an hour to download. And then when I upload it, their algorithm disfavors it, so nobody gets to see it. It drives me crazy. Like, I would do it if they made it easier. TikTok should just give you the option to say, put an hour's worth of my live, like, take it and just put it up there, right? I think people would find it interesting. I mean, a lot of the different lives, but they don't. What do? All right, guys, I am going to call it quits. So thank you for joining me tonight. I appreciate the support, the gifts, and the support. I will see you all tomorrow. And remember, Saturday morning, we've got our coffee talk. So it's the hangout I do for the paid monthly subscribers. TikTok, YouTube, Substack, Discord. I think that's it. I'm forgetting maybe. But we'll see you guys then. And have a good night. So, all right, Discord, starting with you. Boom. I hear you, dog. We all hear you. I know. All right, YouTube, TikTok, you're last. YouTube and everybody, have a good night. Substack.